Welcome back to the Team Burger Summer Series. This is the second video, and we're going to stick to the same topic. But before I review what we did last video, I really just have a simple question for you. If you're an educator and you gave an assignment and the student turned in the wrong assignment, what would you do? Would you explain to the student that the assignment was wrong? What if the student said, no, this is exactly the correct assignment? Would you then follow up and have a conversation with the student? You might then learn that the student says that, well, they didn't listen to you. They just figured this is what the assignment should be. Well, you got some choices as an educator with how to deal with that. But certainly you would expect that the student would at some point do the correct assignment. Well, unfortunately, it's come to my attention that our union, when dealing with the summer school assignment issue, has been using the wrong documents. Look, it was laid out as clear as can be in the CBA that for summer school assignments, the district can lower a more senior teacher's seniority, but the standard that they have to do is that they cannot be arbitrary, capricious, or unreasonable in how they do so. And so when some very senior teachers became aware that some less senior teachers were assigned summer spots, they did what any of us would do, reasonably and appropriately ask the union, hey, what happened here? So it wasn't pitting teacher against teacher, it's asking for clarification. But instead of admitting their mistake, they acted like the student who said, that is the right assignment. I did the right assignment. They just doubled down on their position, and that's when I knew something was wrong. And so when they were pushed further, just like the student said, okay, that wasn't the assignment, but that's what I'm doing anyway, the union leadership at the highest levels said, okay, you caught us. We weren't using the right documents. We were using an outdated document. Did you just hear what I said? That they were using an outdated document. How could this be? How is this possible? I mean, what document could they possibly be using? We have one CBA. In fact, the CBA is on their website. The one thing that does work on this website is the CBA. I mean, you can't copy and paste it into a different document, but they've got the document. It's right there. And what would an outdated document even be? I went back. I did a little research. You can see behind me, I have a couple CBAs, older CBAs, and the language on summer school hasn't changed in at least 20 years. So what kind of relics were they using, or were they even using a CBA at all? This is not advocacy. When you tell somebody that they can go to HR on their own after all this, then that's just abandonment. That is people having to fend for themselves. And ultimately, it raises serious questions. How long have they been using the wrong documents? Were these the same documents that were used during the RIF process when people's jobs were on the line? How many decisions have been made this year relying on bad information? And why won't they now disclose what documents those are that they relied on? You know, this is not a simple clerical slip. This is a systemic, negligent action. And I know negligence is another legal term, much like discrimination and arbitrary and capricious, but it's dangerous. We're educators. We live by clarity and accuracy and accountability. And yet, the union leadership at the very top, those charged with defending our rights, need to know those rights, they need to understand them, and they need to reference the correct documents when they are trying to apply the standard that should be utilized in supporting our members. Someone recently said to me, who's familiar with this situation, that it's comedy. Well, as someone who performed stand-up comedy for over 25 years, I get it. But this isn't funny. It's tragedy. I think it's appropriate and important to make one final point. This was a situation where the president of the union had received the initial communications and pushed the matter off onto someone else. And so the individual who is confessing is somebody at the highest levels of leadership. But I also had personal conversations with other individuals at the highest levels of leadership who couldn't explain the standard or were even aware that there was an issue here. So this is a problem that is systemic in the way our union is being run. But you feel it. You know, you've experienced it on some level. And so instead of being a good student who appreciates that they'd made a mistake and does whatever is necessary to do the correct assignment and learn from their mistakes, there's no self-reflection here at all on anyone's part. And so it's time to start sharing with you the details. So thanks for watching. If you know of anybody who would benefit from this kind of information, please make sure to share the Google form that's included in the email. We'd love to have them.